OMG Nation, I have debated on telling this story. By the way, this video, it's a wrestling road story. I have debated on telling this story because it's not the funniest story in the world, but I've talked to a few people and just said, hey, do you think this will be a good topic for my wrestling road stories? Because it's just the truth and it kind of happened. So me, myself, and the Macho Man Randy Savage, oh yeah. And I believe it was the Harris brothers and Bob Ryder. We all went out to eat. Or maybe, I can't remember who all was there. This was a long time ago. And it was just one brief thing. And it wasn't like that Macho Man, I'd met him, let me fix that. I'd met Macho Man one time before, briefly, but it wasn't like we were buddies or anything. It was just, you know, he came into TNA Wrestling while I was there, and we were in Orlando, I believe, at the Doubletree. That was the first place that I met him. Bob Ryder, he gives me a call, my cell, and he's like, Risky Rick, you got to come down here. I need you to meet somebody. I'm like, all right. So I come down to the lobby, and there he is, just standing there. Massively wide dude, brothers. And he's like, hey, brother. And I'm like, hey, Rick Santel, nice to meet you. He goes, hey, I've heard a lot about you. And I said, oh, yeah? He goes, no, I'm kidding. And I was just like, okay, here we go. We're going to start with the jokes. And so we're sitting there, and we're talking, everybody's just kind of chit-chatting, and then somebody suggests, hey, let's go grab something to eat. And I'm trying to remember, and I can't remember for the life of me all of the details, but I believe we went to some place that was some form of a Mexican restaurant. Here we are, we're all sitting down there, and I'm like, technically, I'm eating with the Macho Man. I'm like, and so here's the other deal with this too. I never told my tag partner, the Livewire Chris Vaughn, because Bob Ryder goes, hey, Risky Rick, do not tell him. Do not tell Chris Vaughn that you went with us to go eat, because he'll get all tore up, because Chris Vaughn was a massive, huge fan of Randy Macho Man Savage, which everyone was. I was growing up. I watched, you know, back then it was WWF, and I watched WWF and the Macho Man storylines along with the Hogan storylines, and he was just always a favorite character, no matter if he was heel or if he was a babyface, good guy or a bad guy in layman's terms. So here we are. We go someplace, and we're just sitting there talking, and I'm just kind of, you know, I'm chiming in a little bit. I'm not really having the conversation. They're all talking and kind of everybody's laughing. I'm like, ha ha, yeah, you know. All of a sudden, the Macho Man, he's kind of laughing and talking. He stops. He looks me dead in the eye and he goes, hey, brother. I'm like, yeah, pass me the guacamole. I'm like, all right. Here you go. And I passed him the guacamole, brother. And I was like, I mean, there was a lot of people at the table. And Macho, he asked me to pass him the guacamole. He could have asked anyone, but he asked me. We must be besties. Like this. Me and the Macho Man. And then he didn't say another word to me the whole a whole lunch or whatever, but he's just, you know, we were all just talking. They were all talking, and I was just there going, I mean with Macho Man. But that's kind of my Macho Man Randy Savage story. I told you there wasn't a whole lot to this story, but it definitely was a really cool experience with me. And for those of you asking, did he sound like this? And oh yeah, brother, the whole time. He sounds like a version of that when he's talking. He just kind of sounds like this when he's talking, just kind of normal. And then every now and then he goes, and his twitches, his facial expressions, I would say they're exaggerated a little bit, just from the brief time that I met him. Again, I didn't spend more than just this 2-hour period in the same table as this man, but just some of the ticks or twitches that he did was just like, as people were talking and he's listening to the story, he goes, oh, you know, but it wasn't as pronounced as he would. It wasn't as pronounced as he would do it if he was cutting a promo or something where he's like, doing all that. Oh yeah, brother, macho man. You know, he wasn't doing all that. Like, hey, Santel, pass me the guacamole, brother. It wasn't, you know, like that. It was just, hey, pass me the guacamole. But the way he said guacamole, that was pretty Macho Man-esque, I guess, so to speak. But it was cool. It's a memory that I'll always have. I had dinner with the Macho Man. Pretty cool, huh? Or lunch, not dinner. I had dinner. Like I said dinner again. I had lunch with the Macho Man. Well, technically, I was at the table where we were having lunch. And I was with Bob Ryder and the Harris Brothers. And Macho Man was there. But I had dinner with the Macho Man Randy Savage. Lunch! Why do I keep saying dinner? It was lunch. Let me tell you guys, now off of the Wrestling Road story, that's it on it. But let me tell you about 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I saw the 2023 CVO Street Glide and the 2023 CVO Road Glide. I'm going to tell you guys. First of all, I do not dislike either one of them. I think they look fantastic. There's one thing that nobody seems to be talking about on any of their reviews, on any of their walk-arounds or anything like that on both of the 2023 CVO Road Glide and Street Glide. And I'll get to that shortly here in just a second. If I had to, now remember, I don't dislike either one of them, but if I had to pick which one I think that I liked better, if I had to think, which one of these two new designs look like the better of the two designs that I had to choose? If I had to choose and someone said, OMG, you gotta choose. Now that I've seen them both in person, brothers, I like the Street Glide look a little better. I know all you Road Glide guys are going, oh, Lord, oh, God, let me start typing in the comments, let me start typing. Road Glide, Shark Nation, Shark Nation. I know some of you guys are losing your mind right now. But have you seen them in person? That's just my initial impression. Will one grow on me more than the other? Possibly. But the lines on the Street Glide? Whew. They haven't changed the design since the inception of the Rushmore in 2014, either fairing, I believe. If I'm wrong, someone correct me in the comments. But 2014, both of those fairings, they haven't changed them since then. And they've become, the Batwing fairing and the Sharknose fairing have, I feel like, have become pretty iconic as far as the two fairings that when you look at them, they represent harley-davidson muscle. The two touring fairings that you look at them, and I don't feel like that there was a lot of old school anything in either one of those fairings. They kind of went new school with them both because they really and truly, I remember when they came out, there were a lot of folks that didn't like either one of them. There were a lot of folks that loved that old fairing on the Road Glide, and then when he switched to this Sharknose, oh, they just had a fit. I can't believe it. It looks terrible. And then the same folks that were saying that, a little bit later, I heard them going, you know what? I kind of like that. Oh, it's kind of growing on me a little bit. And the Batwing has just been the Batwing. You know, there's a thing. Everyone always says, "Oh, the Batwing, you feel it, you move it, the wind causes it to shake in your arms, and it's heavy when you're turning." I'm just gonna throw this out there. Maybe, just maybe, you should be a little tougher, brother. but here's the deal. Looking at the lines of both of those, they just look so good. They both look really good in person to me. But for me, the Street Glide Farron, it just a little bit more. There's something about it that just makes me go, I like that. I love the lights. How the lights go up like this right here on both sides. And then they're also the blinkers. I think they look great. And I know one of these aftermarket companies is going to come out with something even cooler that you can replace it with. Because that's just what they do. Now the Road Glide, the lights on the Road Glide, they look great. But there's just a little something about the Road Glide where if I was just to say, which one? This one or this one? Street Glide or the Road Glide? Street Glide, whoop, and the Road Glide, whoop. Which is unusual because for both of the Farrons up to this point, I've liked both of them. I've ridden both the Road Glide and the Street Glide up to this year, and I've loved both of them. I can't tell a difference in them. I've done slow speed drills with both of them. The only difference I noticed in slow speed drills is that with the Road Glide Farron, it's just I'm working the bike. And some of you guys that do the slow speed drills out there will know what I'm talking about. I'm feeling the bike and working the bike and balancing the bike. But on the Street Glide, I'm using the Farron to my advantage. And I'm using the weight of the Farron to do full lockout U-turns. And turns and cone weaves and stuff. And I'm using that Farron weight to my advantage. What you guys that know what I'm talking about, put that in the comments. But the one thing that I told you that no one else is talking about, and I'm blown away that no one else is saying anything about it. The gas tanks on both the CVO 2023 CVO Street Glide and the Road Glide, the tank is beveled. So when you're sitting on the bike and you look down at that tank, the tank comes out, it's wide, and it's beveled. The top of the tank is beveled, and it looks incredible. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was an older Harley that had a paint scheme that either looked beveled or the tank was slightly beveled. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it reminds me of a little old school / new school look. That beveled tank, genius. I loved it. It is my favorite part about both bikes. I love it. Coming in second about both bikes is the bags. They made the bags wider. That was cool because everybody knows if you got wider bags, you can pile and stuff more junk that you need or do not need in those bags. And that's important on those rides, to have that stuff that you need and do not need. But that tank, guys, if you haven't seen it, go to your local Harley-Davidson dealership and sit. First of all, stand beside it and look at it. And when you look at it from the side. Man, I see that beveled tank that Ryan was talking about. Then sit on the bike and look down. And you're going to go, oh, I see what the OMG is talking about. OMG! The take looks amazing. Hit me in the comments if you've seen it, if you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, if you completely disagree with me, tell me in the comments that you completely disagree with me and why. If you completely agree with me, tell me in the comments that you completely agree with me and why. Guys, I am on a quest and it has not changed. I am in this for the long haul. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. I think I'm 90 away from 5,000 subscribers. Help me shade in up to 5,000. Share this video or any other video with a like-minded motorcycle enthusiasts like yourselves. And remember, keep it old school. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Oh, stall.
Say bye, Hardy.
Bye, Hardy.
Oh, this is recorded, by the way.
I didn't think it wasn't recorded.
Okay. Just checking.